We went ahead and started learning GST with goods or services. Always remember goods and service ka definition. Goods ka definition is given in section number 2 clause 52. Services ka definition is given in 2102. Goods and service has to be supplied. Now listen to me very carefully. For GST to be levied, goods and services has to be supplied. Supply ka definition which is there. Supply ka definition is given in section number 7 of the CGST Act, and we have section number 8 also of the CGST Act, which gives us the definition of composite supply and mixed supply. Let's go ahead and start understanding supply. Scope of supply is given in section number 7. Section number 7 over here talks about, section number 7 has section number 7.1 and section number 7.1a and section number 7.2. Everyone over here. Section number 7.1 goes ahead and says what are the things which are included in supply. Sir, why are we learning supply? Because whenever goods and services are supplied, if it is interstate supply, then IGST will be imposed. IGST will be imposed or levied, we can call it. And whenever it is intrastate supply, means supply is happening within the same state, then sir, CGST and SGST will be levied. So we are going ahead and learning supply, because only when something is following the definition of supply, we further go ahead and say GST can be imposed. So now supply ka definition, when you read section number 7.1 has section number 7.1a, section number 7.1b and section number 7.1c. Okay, now if something is falling in the definition of supply and it is a supply, then we further go ahead and refer to section number 7.1a and see whether it is supply of goods or supply of service, that is sold by section number 7.1a. Now if something is falling in section number 7.1 and it is supplied, then section number 7.2 goes ahead and tells that those transactions might be supply in section number 7.1, but notwithstanding section number 7.1, section number 7.2 goes ahead and says it shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Let's go ahead and start understanding with section number 7.1. Supply, always remember that is the taxable event. If supply ka definition means you are following, then GST shall be imposed on your transaction. Okay, done sir. Section number 7 was section number 7.1a. It talks about all forms of supply of goods, services or both. All forms. Whether you call it a sale, whether it's a sale transaction. So I just transferred, whether it is transferred, or barter. Barter means giving goods and taking goods. Exchange. Exchange generally is used in case of car, etc. Give your old car plus some money and take a new car. Lease, rental, license, disposal. Again, sir, sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, rental, license, disposal, all forms are included by whatever name you call. So first of all, it has to be a form. Secondly, it is made or agreed to be made. Agreed to be made means in future, advance you have taken and you are telling in future you are going to supply. Then also that is included in the definition of supply. It says all forms are included, whether made or agreed to be made, but it has to be for a consideration. Sir, what do you mean by consideration? Always remember, consideration can be in cash, consideration can be in kind, consideration can be an act which is done by you. Sir, consideration can be a forbearance. You are telling, okay, I will not do this. That is also a consideration. Remember always, consideration can be monetary, consideration can be non-monetary, consideration can be in cash, consideration can be in kind, consideration can also be an act. Done, sir. So, all forms of supply made or agreed to be made for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business will be considered as supply. So, section number 7, when I start section number 7, the section number 7 has section number 7.1a, which says all forms for a consideration if it is done in the course or furtherance. Furtherance means promotion, advancement, then it shall be considered as supply. Then now we have the next one, section number 7.1b. What is section number 7.1b? Section number 7.1b talks about importation of service. First of all, you have to always remember the definition of importation of service. What is the definition? Supplier is outside India, recipient is in India, and the place of supply is in India. Again, with me everyone, what is importation? Supplier is outside India, recipient is in India, and the place of supply is in India. That is importation of service. Done, sir. If importation has happened for a consideration in the course of business, for an example, I went ahead and took some legal services from outside India for the purpose of my business in India, then Baba, then also it's a supply. Sir, if I go ahead and take some legal services from outside India for the purpose of my family dispute, then it's a non-business purpose, that is also a supply. Always remember, it's a supply. Then when you go ahead, 1 minute everyone, when you go ahead to your charge of GST chapter, when you go to your charge of GST chapter, in reverse charge you will be able to see that any services provided by any person in the non-taxable territory, means outside India, to a person in the taxable territory, reverse charge mechanism shall be applicable. And hence, whenever importation of service has happened from outside India, somebody has given the service in India, it is a supply as per section number 71B. So as per section 71B, it's a supply. But this is told by section number 53 में notification, which says that reverse charge mechanism में GST has to be paid. Done, sir. But you know what? Non-business purpose. Just imagine I took interior designing services for my home purpose. Do you think I will take registration and pay the GST under reverse charge? And hence government went ahead and exempted this. Okay, sir. Point is clear. But here one exception is there. Always remember, if online information database access and retrieval services, online information database access and retrieval services, OIDAR services, are supplied from outside India into India to a non-taxable online recipient. Sir, if from outside India, OIDR services, number one, importation of service, if they are coming from outside India into India, if it is, now when they are coming, importation of service is coming into India for a consideration, always remember one thing, whether it is for business purpose or it is non-business purpose, section number 71B goes ahead and says this is also supply, this is also a supply. Now when this is also a supply, this is also a supply, you have to pay the GST. Now if you are registered, then very good. Otherwise, when you are reading compulsory registration under section number 24 in your registration chapter, you will see people who are required, when it is supply, you have to pay the GST under RCM. People who are required to pay the GST under RCM has to go ahead and take the registration, and compulsory registration has to be taken, and you have to pay the GST under RCM. But whenever it is non-business purpose, government went ahead and told reverse charge me you don't have to pay GST. They have been exempted in public interest. Just imagine you went ahead and took some service. Will you pay the GST under RCM? No, sir, will not pay. So government told we will exempt. Done, sir. Point is clear. Now one thing which I want to tell here, be very careful if it is importation of OIDR services which are happening. OIDAR services, whenever it is coming from outside India and it is taken by an NTOR. Who is an NTOR? He can be any government or local authority, or it can be any individual who is there. Okay, sir. Or it can be any unregistered person, and these people are basically receiving OIDR services for non-business, non-commercial purpose. Then they are called as NTOR. NTOR means any government, local authority, individual or unregistered person, and they are receiving OIDR services for non-business purpose. In this scenario, government went ahead and told OIDR has to go ahead and take compulsory registration in India, and he will collect the GST under forward charge mechanism, and he will go ahead and pay it to the government. Always remember this, OIDR services to an NTOR forward charge mechanism shall be applicable. I started teaching you supply with section number 71. Section number 71A, all forms of supply for a consideration in the course of furtherance of business will always become a supply. 71B went ahead and told importation of service, whether it is business, non-business purpose, it shall be, if it is for a consideration, it shall be considered as supply. Yes, sir, point is clear. I went ahead and told you OIDAR services provided to an NTOR forward charge mechanism shall be applicable. Now we have section number 71C. Always remember one thing, everyone. 71A and 71B may an activity to become a supply, it has to be for a consideration. Section number 71C goes ahead and says those activities which are told in schedule 1. There are 4 activities which are told in schedule 1. Without consideration also they will be considered as supply. These are the 4 activities which are scheduled one method which are made or agreed to be made without consideration also it will be considered as supply. Number one which is there is PTO, PTDOBA, PTDOBA, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been availed on such asset. Everyone over here, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC is availed on such asset, then Baba, that will be considered as supply. Always remember one thing, I went ahead and bought a shirt, I sold the shirt 71A. Remember always one thing, I went ahead, for an example, I went ahead and bought a shirt and I sold a shirt, that is considered as section number 71A because sale is for a consideration. Sir, I bought a shirt, I went ahead and took the ITC and gave the shirt for free to my friend. Always remember one thing, sir, you went ahead and took the ITC on the shirt, you bought an asset, you gave the asset for free, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where you had availed ITC, section number 71C may it shall become a supply. Then I went ahead and bought a shirt, I did not take the ITC, but then I gave it for free. Always remember, this will not be a supply in section number 71C because for you to become a supply in section number 71C, it has to be permanent transfer or disposal of business asset. Which business asset? On which you have gone ahead and taken a ITC. Done, sir. Point is clear. Permanent transfer or disposal of business asset on which ITC has been taken on such asset. Be very careful, everyone. For an example, I went ahead and bought a thermometer. Thermometer. I'm a pharma company and we went ahead and gave thermometer for free. We took the ITC on the thermometer. Baba, it will be considered as permanent transfer of business asset on which ITC has been availed. I went ahead and bought medicine ka powder. On the powder, I went ahead and took the ITC. I made powder say medicines. And medicine, if I go ahead and give free, remember always, it can be a permanent transfer of your business asset, but permanent transfer of business asset on which you had availed the ITC. Did you take the ITC on medicine? No, sir. I took the ITC on powder, and hence, always remember, this is not that asset on which ITC was availed, and hence, it will not be a supply. If it is not a supply, here, remember always, when outward is not a supply, ITC is also blocked. You will not get the ITC. Done, sir. Point is clear. Remember always, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC is availed on such asset. If you go ahead and take the ITC, it shall be considered as supply. The next is margin scheme is available on sale of motor vehicle. This is just a notification which is there on motor vehicle which are held as capital asset. Remember always everyone, over here one small point, marginal scheme is available on sale of motor vehicles which are held as capital asset. For an example, I went ahead and bought a motor vehicle. Okay, tell me one thing. I went ahead and bought a television. Now, if I go ahead and sell the television, it will fall in section number 71A. For an example, I sold it, I bought the television for 10,000 rupees, used it for some time, and now I sold it for 8,000. Baba, always remember GST has to be paid on transaction value. But the same is not true in case of motor vehicle. I went ahead and bought a motor vehicle. ठीक है sir. Motor vehicle पे anyways the ITC is blocked. ITC you will not get because the ITC is blocked. I went ahead and sell the motor vehicle. Remember always, only in case of motor vehicle which are held in your business as capital asset, they have gone ahead and told whenever you sell, for an example, you sold for 5 lakh rupees your motor vehicle, the car which is held in your business, this car ka written down value today was 4 lakh rupees, then you have to pay GST only on 1 lakh rupees. This is being told over here saying marginal scheme, whatever is the margin you earn on those sale of motor vehicle which are held as capital asset. So if you have gone ahead and held motor vehicle in your business as capital asset and you are going ahead and selling them, then only on the differential you have to pay GST. Done, sir. Point is clear. Next, supply by related person. Supply by related person or distinct person under section number 25 in the course or furtherance of business. Sir, supply between related person. First of all, let's go ahead and understand what do you mean by related person. Always remember related person, the scope is very big. S, C, O, P, E, scope plus family plus sole agent. Always remember one thing, S for what? Shares. So if supposingly one person is holding, A Limited is holding at least 25% shares in B Limited and at least less than equal to, okay everyone, at least means not less than, greater than equal to, ठीक है, at least 25% shares in B Limited and 25% shares in C Limited. Always remember B and C will become related. What have they gone ahead and told? They have told when one person is holding at least 25% shares in both of them. Remember always. The second is control. As of now, control is not defined in GST Act, but control you can understand holding and subsidy wala control. For an example, A Limited is holding 51% share. Baba, control is whenever one person is holding in another at least 51% share. So for an example, B Limited is there. B is holding in C Limited more than 50% share, that is 51% share. So if B controls C or C controls B, both are related person. A Limited is there. A Limited controls B. A Limited controls C also. Baba, here I am talking about control, holding and subsidiary. Then always remember B and C will become related. B also controls D. C also controls D. Then also remember B and C becomes related. What am I telling? For an example, Papa controls Mama, Mama controls Papa. Then Papa and Mama are related. Grandpa controls Papa and Mama both. Then also Papa and Mama are related. Papa and Mama controls you, then also Papa and Mama are related. That is what is being told in control. Okay, sir, done. C for control. Then O for officer or director of each other's business. I am a director in your business. You are an officer in my business. We both are related. P for partners. Partners in business are always related. E for employer and employee. Employer and employee are always related person. Then we have family. Sir, family means what? Always remember one thing. People, you don't have to note it down. Revision ka notes I'll upload on rameshsoni.com. You have to go to rameshsoni.com. Free resources, rameshsoni.com. Free resources. May 22 folder mein revision one folder I will put revision classroom notes. From there you can download all the notes which I am writing. Done, sir. Now, what is the related person? Number one, related person is because of shares. Number two, control. Officer or director of each other business are also related. P for partners are also related. E for employer and employee are also related. Then we have family. Family is also related person. Always remember, family can be Supreme Court and it can be PGBS. Always remember, Supreme Court means, sir, Supreme Court means spouse and children. Your spouse and children. My wife is my spouse and my children, whether dependent, independent, always related person. Remember always, they are always your related person. Parents, grandparents, brother, sister. Parents, grandparents, brother and sister will become your related person only if dependent. Only if they are dependent on you, they are related person. If they are independent, they are not your related person. Again, related person also includes a sole agent or a sole distributor. Basically, if I have only one distributor or one agent or one trading right holder, sole trading right holder who is there, then he becomes my related person. Done, sir. Point is clear. Who is your related person? Everyone always remember. Sir, number one, if I am holding shares greater than equal to 25% in both of them, then both of them will become related. Okay, sir. C for control. I am going ahead and controlling someone. Someone is controlling me. We both are related. Someone else is controlling both of them. Then also we both are related. We both are controlling someone else. Then also we both are related. O for officer or director, P for partner, E for employer, employee are always related. Then, sir, family is also related person, but family may you have to remember, spouse and children will always be related person. Parents, grandparents, brother, sister, related only if they are dependent on you. Sole agent or sole concessionaire is always your related person. Sole means only one. If you have only one sole agent across India, then Baba, they will become related person. Done, sir. So supply between related person in the course or furtherance of business. Related person, scope plus family plus sole agent. But here one thing you have to be careful. If you are talking about the related person, which is basically your employee के लिए one thing is told, whenever you are going ahead and giving gift up to 50,000 per annum per employee, sir, if employee is related but giving gift to the employee 50,000 rupees per annum per employee, it shall not be a supply. If it is not supply, always remember you will not get the ITC also. For example, I gave my employee an iPad of 70,000. That time it is a supply. I will get ITC also. Yes, sir. Point is clear. Done. But if you are giving up to 50,000 per annum per employee, then sir, it shall not be a supply. If it is not a supply, ITC also will not be available. Done, sir. Sir, supply between related person or distinct person. What do you mean by distinct person? Distinct person is told in section number 25 of the GST Act. Section number 25 goes ahead and says, same state may, if you have two establishment, you don't have to go ahead and take registration. For an example, I have two shops in the same state. I don't have to take two separate registration. But if I go ahead and take two separate registration in the same state, then both the shops will become distinct person. Okay, sir, point is clear. One state may have one registration, another state may have taken one more registration, then also they become distinct person. One state may registered, one state may not registered, then also distinct person. Again, with me everyone, same state, separate registration, distinct person. One state registered, another state also registered, distinct person. One state registered, one state not registered, also distinct person. Okay, sir, point is clear. So, sir, whenever it's a supply between distinct person or related person in the course of furtherance of business, always remember it shall become a supply. Then we have one small circular over here. This goes ahead and says, interstate movement of conveyance between distinct person. So supposingly there is SRS travel in Karnataka and SRS travel in Tamil Nadu. SRS travel in Karnataka, SRS travel in Tamil Nadu. Bus is going from Karnataka SRS travel to Karnataka to Tamil Nadu ka SRS travel. So when bus is going, bus is supplied. One officer went ahead and told, when bus is going from one state to another, bus is also supplied, or bus also I will charge GST. Morning going, GST will come. Evening coming back, another GST will come, because it's a supply between distinct person. On the bus, no, GST will not come. On the conveyance, GST will not come. It is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. The GST Council went ahead and clarified. Sir, on repair and maintenance work done, what about the repair and maintenance work done? For an example, this is SRS Travel Karnataka. They have one truck which is there. In the truck, they have all the tools, etc. This is SRS Travel Tamil Nadu which is there. This is Karnataka which is there. Tamil Nadu ka one bus has become bad. Bus has fallen sick. Our trunk has come out. Bus has fallen sick. Now the truck went from here to repair the bus, repaired the bus and came back. Now because this truck belongs to Karnataka branch and this bus belongs to Tamil Nadu branch, when they are going ahead and repairing and coming back, on the repair and maintenance ka service provided, GST will come, because it's a supply of service from one distinct person to another. But sir, this truck went from Karnataka branch to Tamil Nadu branch, truck is only supplied. No, Baba, truck is not supplied. It is not a supply between distinct person. But on the repair and maintenance work done, it is a supply between distinct person and GST will come. Sir, for an example, what if it is a movement for further supply? What if it is a movement for further supply? Tata ka factory se, Tata factory is there in Mumbai to Tata factory in Karnataka. One cars are being sent to Karnataka ka showroom. Okay, I will go ahead and take the example like this. For an example, this is Tata ka factory which is in Maharashtra. Say some cars are being sent from here to the showroom in Karnataka. This showroom is in Karnataka. Because both are distinct person, when cars are coming from here to here, sir, it is a supply, because it is for further supply, means for further sale, etc. So that is what they are going ahead and telling. Baba, here car is not conveyance. Here car is goods. Done, sir. Movement is for further supply, GST shall be leviable. Remember always, when buses, etc. is going from one distinct person to another, sir, it is not a supply. It is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. But when truck, etc. are being sent from one distinct person to another on repair, maintenance work, etc. done, GST will be levied. Sir, if it is for further supply, Baba, it's a transfer of goods, stock transfer between branches in different state, GST will be leviable. Done, sir. Point is clear. So I went ahead and told you. Till now, what did we go ahead and learn? Sir, we went ahead and learned section number 7, section number 7.1a, section number 7.1b, and section number 7.1c. Section number 7.1a, all forms for a consideration in the course of business will be considered as supply. Then, sir, section number 7.1b, importation of service, business, non-business, both will be considered as supply. Section number 7.1c, Schedule 1, paragraph number 1, which is there, sir, supply. Number 1, permanent transfer of disposal, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been availed on such asset. The second one, which is there, is supply between related person or distinct person. Yes, sir, point is clear. The third one is principal to agent ka supply or agent to principal ka supply. Always remember one thing, whenever we are going ahead and talking about an agent in section number 7.1c, paragraph number 3, we are talking about those agents who are consignment agent and not commission agent. Everyone over here, what do you mean by agent? Agent can be of two type. Agent can be consignment agent, agent can be commission agent. Sir, we are not talking about the commission agent over here. Why, sir? Who are commission agent? I went ahead and supposing there is a shopkeeper, I told him, sir, this is the customer. Shopkeeper gave the invoice directly to him. He made the payment directly to the shopkeeper. Here I am just a commission agent. I will tell, okay, sir, you sold, no, give me some commission. So I'm just a commission agent. Commission agent we are not talking about here. We are talking about consignment agent. Supposingly there is a principal. Principal goes ahead and sends the goods to the agent, and agent sells the goods to the customer. So principal sends the goods to the agent. Agent has taken a godown. In the godown, he has kept all the goods. And he further goes ahead and supplies the goods in an invoice is in the name of the agent. Agent will go ahead and collect the payment, and after a period, might be 3 months, 6 months, he will deduct his commission, he will deduct all the expenses which are there, and remaining amount he will go ahead and transfer. So what they are going ahead and telling, this kind of agents who are issuing the invoice for the further supply in their name are those agents which are covered under section number 7.1c, and the sending of goods for further supply by the agent, when you are transferring or sending the goods, that is also a supply. That is what is being told over here. Supply between principal and agent or vice versa. Sir, whenever I go ahead and I am the principal, I send the goods to the agent, agent goes ahead and further supplies in his name, then that is a supply of the agent. So me sending the goods to the agent without consideration also will be considered as supply. They are talking about a selling agent. Done, sir. There is a circular, agent is further supplying or procuring in his name, those agents are only covered. So for an example, if I go ahead and tell you there is a principal, there is an agent, and there is customer. Principal sends the goods, agent goes ahead and issue the invoice in the name of the agent and further supplies. He will collect the payment, and later after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, he will go ahead and remit it to me. Sending of goods by me to my agent will be considered as supply. Even if without a consideration I am going ahead and sending it to him, it will be considered as supply under section number 7.1c. Now these are known as selling agents also. Now the next kind of agent, if I go ahead and tell you, there can be a supplier. I went ahead and told one agent that can you find out those kind of suppliers who can supply me this kind of mouse. Then he went ahead and found out this supplier, and I am the principal. I told the agent that I want some this kind of mouse. Can you find out the suppliers for me? He went and searched for the supplier. Now he went ahead and gave the invoice to him, and he gave me an invoice. Invoice is in the name of the agent. Then Baba, this agent is covered under section number 7.1c. Done, sir. Point is clear. Always remember this. Next, the fourth one over here is importation of service from related person or own establishment without consideration in the course of business. For an example, I went ahead, okay, importation of service. I went ahead and took some services from my brother who is settled in US. Okay, he is settled in US. Everyone, I imported some services from my brother who is settled in the US. Importation of services. My brother is settled in the US, but he is dependent on me. As of now, I'll tell my brother is dependent on me. If my brother is dependent on me, he will become my related person. I did not pay any GST, any consideration to my brother, and I took it for non-business purpose. If I took it for non-business purpose, it will not be a supply. For an example, my son is settled in the US. He's an architect. He's settled in the US. Imported. I told son, we have to make a home in India. I called my son. I told we have to make a home in India. Can you make a blueprint and send? He told, okay, Papa, I will send you the blueprint. Importation of service. My son who is settled in the US, Baba, settled, unsettled, relate. It will always be a related person. Your son is your related person. Next. Yes, sir, your son is your related person. I did not pay anything to my son. Third consideration, third thing also done. It is not for my business and it will help not become a supply. Always remember that. Now, I went ahead and took some services from my son. Same thing. My son is my related person. My son is in the US. Consideration, sir, I did not pay him anything. But I told my son that I want the architectural design for a client. I took it for my business, then it will become a supply. Always remember one thing, I am telling you again, importation of service has to be done from a related person without consideration in the course of business only becomes a supply. Importation of service from own establishment might be my head office or my branch office which is outside India without consideration in the course of business, only then it shall be considered as supply. Next. So we'll go ahead to the next one. Everyone over here. Till now I went ahead and taught you section number 7. Section number 7, I went ahead and taught you section number 7.1a, section number 7.1b and section number 7.1c. Everyone with me. Section number 7.1a, all forms for a consideration in the course of business will be considered as supply. Section number 7.1b, importation of service, business, non-business, but for a consideration will be considered as supply. 7.1c, schedule 1 ka 4 items which are there. Number 1, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been availed on such asset. Second one, sir, second one is supply between related person or distinct person in the course of furtherance of business. The third one is which one, sir? Third one is principal to agent ka supply or agent to principal ka say supply where invoice is being issued in the name of the agent. And the last one is importation of service from own establishment or related person in the course of business without consideration. Done, sir. Point is clear. Let's go ahead. Now, if you are falling in section number 7.1a, if you are falling anywhere in section number 7.1a, your activity, whether it is supply of goods or supply of service, you have to go ahead and see section number 7.1 capital A. Everyone in section number 7.1 capital A, supply of goods or supply of service. For that, you have to go ahead and see schedule 2. Schedule 2 may basically they have gone ahead and told whether something is supply of goods or supply of service. Transfer. Sir, transfer of title. Whenever you go ahead and transfer the ownership, always remember it is a supply of goods. I went ahead and transferred the ownership of my car to you. It is always a supply of goods. Transfer of right in goods or undivided share is always a supply of service. For an example, there is a JCB machine which is there, which belongs to 3 friends who are there. Okay? A, B and C. All of them have right in the goods. Okay? For an example, B is leaving and going and D is coming in. So B went ahead and transferred his ownership in this JCB machine to D. He had a right in the goods, and right in the goods when you are transferring, it is an undivided share or it is a right in goods and which you are transferring to someone, it is a supply of service. Transfer of title in future, basically whenever you have gone ahead and bought something on hire purchase, the person who has gone ahead and sold you, he has not given you a service. For an example, one showroom wala went ahead and gave you a car on hire purchase, car on installment. He is given you a goods also which is car, and car on installment. On installment means it's a service, but it will always be a supply of goods. Next. Lease, tenancy, easement to occupy land. Always, whenever you are giving land ka lease, tenancy, easement, etc., it is always supply of service. Then we have lease, letting out of building. Always remember, letting out, leasing of building is always a supply of service. Then we have a circular over here. Circular goes ahead and talks about Pagdi system. For an example, there is Ram over here and there is Sham over here. ठीक है, Ram had a residential house which was there. Ram को Sham went ahead and told Ram, I will give you 10 lakh rupees. You give me the tenancy right. Tenancy right means Sham will be the tenant for lifetime. He has not sold. Ram has not sold the home. Ram has given his tenancy right. So whenever he gives the tenancy right to Sham, and Sham has gone ahead and given 10 lakh rupees, giving of tenancy right against tenancy premium, this is called tenancy premium, is known as Pagdi system. Done, sir. It is known as what? Pagdi system. And sir, whether it is supply of goods or supply of service, government went ahead and clarified giving of tenancy right against tenancy premium is always a supply of service. Done, sir. Point is clear. But always remember, if Ram has gone ahead and given the tenancy right with respect to residential house, then it shall be exempt. So when you are giving tenancy right, if it is for residential house, it shall be exempted. But if the tenancy right are given for commercial property, always remember it shall be taxable. It will not be exempt. Done, sir. Now, sir, for an example, Sham has taken the tenancy right from you, and now when the Sham is there, Sham is going to stay for 5 years. After 5 years, supposedly Sham leaves and goes, and he transfers the tenancy right to Radha. Radha is the new incoming person. Always remember, when this person who is not the actual owner of the property, he is transferring the tenancy right to the incoming person, and he is going ahead and paying an amount to him. That tenancy right is always, transfer of tenancy right further is always taxable, whether it is for commercial property, residential property. This guy is doing business in the tenancy right, and doing business in the tenancy right shall always be taxable over here. Done, sir. Point is clear. Chalo, let's go ahead. Next, sir, what if she is going ahead and paying him rent also? Residential property के लिए, Baba, remember, residential property renting is exempted. Done, sir. Point is clear. One thing I would like to tell you again, whenever he has gone ahead and given the tenancy right, giving of tenancy right is a supply of service, but it is exempt if it is for residential purpose. Commercial purpose will be taxable. Further, if Sham has gone ahead and transferred to Radha, who is the incoming person, and you have taken some amount from her, you are doing business in tenancy right, whether commercial property, residential property, it shall be taxable. Done, sir. Sir, what if this original owner who is there, he is taking some rent from this person also, this person also? Residential property ka rent exempted, commercial property ka rent taxable. Done, sir. Next. Transfer of tenancy right against tenancy premium is a supply of service, grant exempt if it is granted for residential house. Surrendering by the outgoing tenant against consideration always taxable. Whenever you are surrendering, giving it to this person, or might be you are selling it back to this person also, always remember, surrendering or selling it to the incoming this person who is coming in the property now shall always be taxable. Done, sir. The third one over here is treatment of process. If I am going ahead and doing treatment of process on another person's good, it is always supply of service. Here rethreading of tire was there. If I go ahead and do rethreading of tire, I took the tire from your car and I have done the rethreading of the tire. I have gone ahead and given you material also, I have given you service also, but it shall always be supply of service. Bus bodybuilding is always supply of service. Done. Sir, transfer of business asset. Always remember one thing, transfer of business asset, if it is permanent transfer or disposal, supply of goods, put to private use or made available for non-business use, always supply of service. At the time of closure of business, it shall always be deemed as supply of goods. At the time of closure of business, if you are taking the assets of your business home, it is always supply of goods. But there is an exception which is there. If business is transferred as going concern or transferred to a representative who shall be a taxable person, in that scenario it shall not be a supply of goods. Paragraph number 5 goes ahead and says the following will be supply of service. Renting of immovable property, always supply of service. Construction of complex or building where not the entire consideration is not received after the completion certificate or first occupancy, whichever is earlier. Might be some consideration you would have received already, then it's a construction. See, consideration received before completion certificate or first occupancy, whichever is earlier, then it shall always be construction service. Temporary transfer or use of intellectual property right, always supply of service. Development, upgradation of IT software shall always be a supply of service. Refrain, tolerate or to do an act, supply of service. Transfer of right to use goods, whenever I am transferring right to use, I am giving you the right to use, it is always a supply of service. Paragraph number 6 goes ahead and says the following shall always be a composite supply of service. It shall always be a supply of service. What? Works contract. Always remember one thing, works contract is always in relation to immovable property and works contract is always a supply of service. Restaurant and catering shall always be a supply of service. Association of person or body of individual, whenever they are going ahead and giving goods to their members. So for an example, there is a club and club is going ahead and giving goods to its member. It is always a supply of goods. Done, sir. Next, section number 7.2. Before we go to section number 7.2, I went ahead and started with section number 7. Section number 7.1 had A, B and C. A told all forms for a consideration in the course of business will be considered a supply. Section number 7.1 B, importation of service for a consideration in the course of business or non-business, both will be considered as supply. Section number 7.1 C, schedule 1, 4 activities shall also be considered as supply. Done, sir. Section number 7.1 A, section number 7.1 schedule 1 ka 4 activities. I hope you guys remember. Yes, sir, we remember. Permanent transfer of business asset, where ITC was availed on such asset. Secondly, supply between related person or distinct person. Third one was principal to agent or agent to principal ka supply, where agent is going ahead and issuing the invoice in his name. And the last one is importation of service from related person or own establishment in the course of business without consideration will also be considered as supply. Section number 7.1 A, the first one we went ahead and talked about transfer. Transfer of title is goods, right is service, hire purchase is goods. Done, sir. Second one, leasing etc. of land and building. Always remember it is a supply of service. Third one, we went ahead and learned treatment of process in another person's good. When I am doing treatment of process on your goods, I am always giving you a service. The fourth one which is there is business asset, permanent transfer, temporary transfer or transfer on closure. The fifth one which is there is supply of service. Sixth one is composite supply, basically works contract, and restaurant is always supply of service. Seventh one, association of person or body of individual going ahead and providing goods to its member is always a supply of goods. Then we have section number 7.2. Is everyone with me? Quickly give me a heads up, everyone. Are you all there with me? Yes, sir, we are all there. Let's go ahead. Chalo. Section number 7.2 which is there says even if your activity might be a supply, but still if you are falling in section number 7.2, your activity will be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Everyone over here. So, if they are going ahead and telling section, if you are falling in section number 7.2a, your activity or transaction, if it is specified in schedule 3, those activities or transaction which are specified in schedule 3, they shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Section number 7.2, you just have to go ahead and remember BENCHF. What do you have to remember, everyone? Bench, flag. Yes, sir. B for bond to bond transfer. Bond to bond transfer. Bond to bond transfer shall always be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Basically, your goods are lying in the warehouse, custom warehouse, and you have transferred to someone else. Transferring of custom bonded warehouse ka goods to another person, it shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. E for employee to employer. Employee is going ahead and giving services to the employer, for which employer will go ahead and give him salary, perquisites, etc. Neither supply of goods nor supply of service. N for, sir, one entity to another entity if goods have gone. So, for an example, I have sold some goods from China to USA without the goods entering into India. That shall also be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. C for court or tribunal ka services. Court or tribunal ka services shall also be neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Here, Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, CDRC ka one circular was there. Consumer dispute redressal commissions are also like courts, and Baba, they are also like court or tribunal, and their services also shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Then H for high sea sale. Sir, goods have left from the US. They are coming in the high seas, or might be they would have reached to the port, but you have not cleared them, and you have gone ahead and sold it to someone by transferring the document of title. Your activity will be known as high sea sale, and high sea sale is neither supply of goods nor supply of service in GST. But you know what? Under customs, they go ahead and collect IGST on that. In customs, we'll talk about it. Then F for funeral burial ka services. Always remember funeral burial ka services. Funeral, burial, mortuary ka services, including transportation of the deceased, shall also be neither supply of goods nor supply of services. L for land and completed building when it is sold, means whenever land is sold, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Completed building means when the entire consideration is received after the completion certificate or first occupancy, whichever is earlier. So for an example, if I go ahead and tell over here, this is the completion certificate, this is the first occupancy, whichever is earlier. If after this entire consideration is received, then it is a sale of completed building on which GST will not come. Done, sir. Point is clear. The next one over here is A for actionable claim other than lottery, betting, gambling. Always remember lottery, betting and gambling. Lottery, betting, gambling का केस में GST will come. Other than that, any actionable claim is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. It is goods, but it is not supply of goods or service. G for government official like MLA, MLCs, constitutional post holder का services shall also be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. See over here everyone, services by employee to employer in the course or in relation to employment, services by court or tribunal. CDRCs are like tribunal and their services also shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Function performed by MP, MLAs, etc. Basically duties performed by constitutional post holder, duties performed by CMD, chairperson, member or director of a body which is established by the government, where he is not an employee, because if it is an employee, then it is anyways neither supply of goods nor supply of service. But chairperson, member or a director of a government establishment, his services पे also GST will not come. Funeral, mortuary, burial का services, land and completed building का services, actionable claim are neither supply of goods nor supply of service other than lottery, betting and gambling. Then we have supply of goods from one non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory, high seas sale and bond to bond transfer. Yes sir, point is clear. We learned section number 7, section number 7.1a, B and C done. Section number 7.1a capital A done. Section number 7.2a done, which went ahead and told about bench flag. Now the next one over here, B, it goes ahead and says central government, state government, local authority ka those activities. Everyone over here, section number 7.2b also goes ahead and talks about central government, state government, local authority ka those activities which they are going ahead and undertaking, those activities which are undertaken as public authority. If those activities are notified, then it shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of services. And notified is government have gone ahead and told panchayat or municipality, when they are going ahead and doing article number 243G or W wala activity, that is a notified activity and it shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of services. The next one over here is state government going ahead and giving alcoholic liquor ka licenses, against which these people will go ahead and pay license fees etc. Also shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Activities or transactions undertaken by central government, state government, local authority as public authority shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of service. What are the notified activities? Notified activities, activities which are done by panchayat or municipality under 243G. Panchayat 243G, municipality 243W. Sir, panchayat is always 243G, municipality is always 243W because M ka reverse is W. So it is 243W of the constitution. Done, sir. Grant of alcoholic liquor license by the state government also shall be neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So it is told that when state government is going ahead and giving what? Alcoholic liquor ka licenses. Now people went ahead and told it means state government going ahead and giving any other licenses also, there shall be no GST. Government went ahead and clarified, very simple. Government went ahead and told grant of privileges, licenses, mining rights against consideration in the form of fees or royalty shall be taxable. Only grant of alcoholic liquor license पे there is no GST. All other things which are basically privileges are being given, any licenses, mining rights are being given by the state government, on that GST will come as normal. Done, sir? Point is clear. I went ahead and taught you section number 7, section number 7.1 done, section number 7.1a done, section number 7.2a bench flag. B told about central government, state government ka those activities which are done as public authority, provided those activities are notified. Two notified activity I went ahead and told you. Now we have section number 7 3. Here it is already told supply of goods or supply of service. Now section number 3 mein there is government ke paas power, that government if it wants, government can tomorrow go ahead and say this activity is not supply of goods, it is always a supply of service, or this activity is a supply of service and not supply of goods. That power is there with the government in section number 7 subsection 3. Government on the recommendation of council can notify that a transaction is supply of goods and not supply of service, or supply of service and not supply of goods. That is being told in section number 7.3. That is, that power is there with the government. Done, sir? Here we are done with the definition, basically scope of supply, section number 7. Now we have section number 8 over here. Section number 8. So whenever we are going ahead and talking about supply section number 7, we learn section number 8 is there. Sir, what is section number 8 going ahead and telling? Section number 8, when you read, section number 8 has 8A and 8B. 8A goes ahead and talks about composite supply ka taxability and mixed supply ka taxability. But sir, what is composite supply and what is mixed supply? Composite supply, whenever you go ahead and see, composite supply is defined in clause section number 2, clause 30. Composite supply means two or more taxable supply which is naturally bundled, supplied together in the ordinary course of business, and one is a principal supply. For an example, you went to a shop, you bought a laptop, along with the laptop they gave a charger and a bag also. That is, so it is laptop plus a bag which is given. Now this is two or more taxable. Laptop pay rate is 18%, bag pay rate is 12%. It is naturally bundled. Yes sir, when we buy a laptop, laptop bag is given. It is supplied together in the ordinary course. Yes sir, ordinary course mein all the businessmen are supplying it together. One is principal. What is principal? Principal is the laptop, and hence section number 8 says whenever it is composite supply, it shall be treated as a supply of principal supply, and hence laptop ka rate shall apply on the entire amount which is being charged. Yes sir, point is clear. Then we have mixed supply. Mixed supply ka definition is given in 2 clause 74, which goes ahead and says mixed supply means two or more individual supplies. Individual supplies need not be a taxable supply. Okay, and it is supplied together. It is supplied together for a single price. Very important to note in mixed supply is it should be supplied for a single price, and it is not a composite supply. When it is not a composite supply, it shall be a mixed supply. Done, sir? Point is clear. And taxability of mixed supply shall be treated as a supply of that supply which attracts highest rate. Highest rate shall be applicable in case of mixed supply. So composite supply, it shall be treated as supply of principal supply. Mixed supply, it shall be treated as supply of that supply which attracts highest rate. Done, sir? So I am done over here with the chapter of supply, where I taught you section number 7 and section number 8. Section number 7, section number 7.1, section number 7.1a, all forms, 7.1b, importation of service, 7.1c, those 4 activities without consideration also will be considered as supply. Then we have section number 7.1 capital A. Sir, what is section number 7.1 capital A talking about? Section number 7.1 capital A talks about supply of goods versus supply of service. Those activities which are told in schedule 2. Basically, whether something will be supply of goods or supply of service, you have to see schedule 2. Section number 7.2a and B also I told you, bench flag and government ka activities. Then sir, we had section number 3.7.3 which is total bakwas. Section number 8a and 8b, composite supply, principal supply ka rate, mixed supply, highest rate. Done, sir. Now we have some circulars etc. Please come to your chart book left hand side. Let's do the circular now. Sir, there was a circular which came that whenever you give a car for servicing, where parts ke liye they have charged separately, labor ke they have charged separately, whether it is composite supply, the clarification which came was when parts ke liye separate rate is being charged, separate amount is being charged, please go ahead and apply separate rate of GST. For labor के लिए apply separate rate of GST. Servicing of car involving supply of goods, that is part, and supply of service, that is labor, value of goods and services is shown separately, liable to GST at the rate at as applicable to such goods or service separately. Separate rate will apply. Printing contract. For an example, I would told my printer, I will give you the content, you go ahead and print the book and give it to me. Always remember, in this scenario, printing is principal. What is my printer going ahead and giving me? He is going ahead and giving me printing services, plus he is using paper also, he is using ink also. Baba, printing services is principal over here, and hence it will become a supply of service. That is what is being told in case of printing of books, where content is supplied by the person who owns the IPR. I own the intellectual property, right? While physical input including paper being belongs to the printer, it's a printing service and supply of service. Supply of printed envelope. I told one person, I want 100 envelopes, I want 1000 envelopes. Okay, I want marriage cards. You please print marriage cards and give it to me. When you are going ahead and giving my marriage cards, in my marriage card, print this content also and give it to me. In this scenario, when you go ahead and see, you have principally asked for envelopes, or you have asked for tissue papers, or you have asked for cards, and that is a supply of goods. Printing is an ancillary supply over here. Letter card, tissue, design of the, where you have gone ahead and given the logo or the design, that is the supply of goods, because principally you had asked the person to supply of goods, ancillary was the printing services. But when printing services are principal and ancillary is the paper, inks, etc. which is used, then it will become a supply of service. Done, sir. You have to see what is principal. Next, sir, production sharing contract. What happens in a production sharing contract? For an example, we have Reliance over here. Okay, sir. This is government over here. What government goes ahead and gives? Government goes ahead and gives the license and tells Reliance, okay, you go ahead and explore oil. Reliance will dig in the sea. Over here, no oil came. 100 crore gone. Okay. Here, Reliance went ahead and dug a hole, and sir, oil came out. Now, government goes ahead and says, whenever you have gone ahead and explored oil, supposingly 1000 crore ka oil is being taken out. Out of that, you can go ahead and deduct your 100 crore ka. Okay, Reliance had spent 100 crore here also. 200 crore ka, if there was an expense, you deduct that. That is known as cost petroleum. Cost petroleum means that amount of petroleum which the licensee, this is the licensor who is giving the license, and this is the licensee. Reliance is the licensee. Licensee can go ahead and retain 200 crore ka petroleum over here, which is known as cost petroleum. And remaining 800 crore ka petroleum, they have a production sharing contract where government will go ahead and say, okay, we will share 50-50. So Reliance will have to go ahead and give the remaining 800 crore, say 400 crore ka petroleum to government, which is known as profit petroleum. So here, first thing which was being asked, when government has given Reliance to keep 200 crore ka petroleum, is it that Reliance is going ahead and giving some services to the government for which government has given 200 crore ka petroleum? No, Baba. Here, government ko no services are being given by Reliance. It's a simple contract where government has given the license and you are going ahead and giving profit petroleum to the government on for the license. So it's a supply of service which government has gone ahead and given, for which you have gone ahead and given profit petroleum, means out of the petroleum which is remaining, you have given some share to the government. That's it. It's a supply of service. However, supply of service where the government is giving you the license and you are going ahead and giving profit petroleum to the government is exempted from GST. Done, sir. In production sharing contract, central government grants license to explore, mine, petroleum crude or natural gas. So government will go ahead and give you the license. Okay? In consideration for profit petroleum, you will go ahead and give profit petroleum. Okay? Which is exempted from GST. So basically, when government is giving you the supply of service and you are giving profit petroleum, on this service, GST will not be charged by the government. Cost petroleum is not a consideration received by the contractor for services provided to the government and hence not taxable. When you have gone ahead and retained 200 crore rupees ka petroleum, you have not gone ahead and given any services to the government for which government has given you 200 crore ka petroleum, and hence there will be no GST on that amount. Next. Sir, services of display of name of the donor. You went ahead and donated. You went ahead and donated supposedly 10 lakh to a temple, and temple went ahead and put your name in the temple, saying, okay, donated by Mr. Sukesh. Sukesh went ahead and donated, so they have put his name in the temple as a sign of gratitude towards Sukesh. Now, Baba, going ahead and displaying the name of the donor is no advertisement services which are being provided by the temple trust over here. However, if Sukesh told, I will give you 10 lakh rupees, but you have to put the name Sukesh and Associates, Bangalore, my CA firm ka name, then Baba, in that scenario, the temple trust is going ahead and giving advertisement ka service, and it shall be taxable. Always remember, services of display of name of the donor in the premises of the charitable organization receiving donation or gift from individual. The purpose is philanthropic and not advertisement. It shall not be supply and no GST. But if the purpose is not philanthropic, it is to advertise your business, then advertisement services pay GST will be charged by the temple trust. Done, sir. Point is clear. Then the next one over here is supply of goods, services, or both supplied free of cost or as gift. Supposingly, I went ahead and gave some gift to my employees. In that scenario, always remember, whenever you are going ahead and giving the gift, if it is a supply, everyone always remember, if the gift is a supply, ITC shall be available. If the gift is not a supply, ITC shall be blocked. The same thing is being sold over here, told over here. If it falls in section number 71C, it is a supply, then ITC available. If it is not a supply, if it is not falling in section number 71C, ITC shall be blocked. Then buy one get one free. For an example, supposingly I went ahead and bought material etc. manufactured soap, and I am giving one soap plus one soap free. Always remember, this is nothing other than two supplied at the price of one. It is a mixed supply, and all the ITC relating to goods, services, or capital goods shall be available to me. One officer went ahead and told the other is a free one, and because it's a free, I will not give ITC relating to that free, how much ever material is being used, services are being used. Government went ahead and told officer, wait, it is two being supplied at the price of one. It's a mixed supply, and all the ITC shall be available to that kind of manufacturers. It told it is like supplying two at the price of one. ITC available of input services, and capital goods to the supplier. Done. Sir, association of person or body of individual supplying of service to the members. I will go ahead and tell it like this. For an example, there is a joint venture. In a joint venture, there will be an operating member who will be there. Operating member, and there will be other members who will be there. So basically, all of them have created a joint venture. All of them have gone ahead and created a joint venture. All of them are the members. Okay? But he is the operating member who goes ahead and operates the joint venture. What happens over here? All of them, what they did in the joint venture, they opened a bank account. He went ahead and made cash call saying, everyone, you have to contribute 100 crores. Everyone contributed 100 crore. Okay, everyone contributed 100 crore each. Now, when 100 crore each was being contributed in the bank account, then they bought a machine. Out of the machine, they went ahead and made profit, and profit was being distributed to each of the partners. In this scenario, the question which was asked was, sir, is there any supply of service? There is no supply of service. Whenever you put money in your partnership, is putting your money in the partnership any service which is being provided? No, sir, there is no GST on the capital contribution which is done. There is no service which is being provided. However, then they went ahead and further told, supposingly there is an operating member who is there, and there are other members who are there. Okay? This operating member, these people went ahead and created a joint venture. Operating member is actually going ahead and using his own machine, and he is going ahead and doing supposingly oil exploration, and he went ahead and told, see, I am going ahead and using the machine and doing oil exploration. If you guys want the profit at the end, you have to go ahead and give me some money. So when they are going ahead and giving him money now, in this scenario, whatever cash calls, means whatever money is being given, it is basically because he is going ahead and providing a service to them. This is a supply of service, and whatever amount is being charged, GST will be levied. Always remember that. That is what is being told. Cash call raised by operating member is a transaction in money. No supply, no GST. But if cash calls are received as a consideration for service, because he is going ahead and giving them service, and they are going ahead and giving him money. What is the service? He is going ahead and using his machine and doing oil exploration, and he told them, I will do oil exploration, any profits I will give it to you, but you have to give me 100 crore rupees each. That time he is going ahead and giving a supply of service on which GST will come. That is what is being told over here. Capital contribution, no GST. Sir, supply of service, simple, GST shall come. Yes, sir, point is clear. Here we are done with your chapter of supply. Everyone over here now, listen to me carefully. A graded chapter it is. A graded chapter it is. Anywhere, any point can be asked in the exam. Composite supply, mixed supply, very, very important for exam point of view. Sir, section number 71C, schedule 1 becomes very important from exam point of view. Everyone over here, listen to me carefully. We started learning GST with goods or services. Goods and service का definition, goods section number 252, services का definition 2102. Goods and service has to be supplied. Supply का definition section number 7 I went ahead and taught you, and supply में I taught you section number 8. Now listen to me very carefully. Goods and services has to be supplied. Now supply can be either interstate supply, or supply can be either intrastate supply. Interstate supply or interstate supply, then IGST shall be levied. Sir, intrastate supply, then CGST and SGST shall be levied. Now the next chapter which you are going to learn is intrastate or interstate supply. I will be here only 2 minutes. You guys can drink some water, and then we'll go ahead and move to the third chapter. 15 minutes, small chapter. We'll be going ahead and discussing that also.